All right, welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive into A Course in Miracles.
It's great to be back.
So today we're going to be looking at Lesson 57. And yesterday's lesson really kind of set the stage for this, huh?
Yeah.
It really, paved the way for this one. So Lesson 57, truth is the expression of love. What are we even talking about here?
That's a great question. So yesterday's lesson on forgiveness kind of sets the stage for this because Lesson 57 is really taking this idea of letting go, and it's going deeper, suggesting that love isn't just something we do,
Okay.
but it's actually the very foundation of reality itself.
So wait, hold on. So we're not just talking about romantic loves or being nice to your neighbor, right?
Okay,
We're talking about love as a universal truth.
Exactly. And you'll see that the Course uses the word love in a much broader sense.
Okay.
We're talking about this fundamental connectedness, this underlying unity that exists beneath the surface of our everyday experiences.
Okay, so that's a pretty big concept to grapple with, right?
Yeah.
So how does the Course explain how we've, I guess, lost touch with that?
Well, the Course talks a lot about the ego, which it sees as this voice in our heads that's constantly trying to convince us that we're separate,
Right.
that we're alone, that we're in competition with others.
We're like these little isolated islands. Well,
Exactly. And that's where all this fear and anger and all these difficult emotions come from. It comes from this false sense of separation from that universal love.
okay, so if that separation isn't really true,
Mm-hmm.
how do we start to kind of, I don't know, see things differently, right? How do we kind of shift that perspective?
Well, Lesson 57 encourages us to look at our experiences through the lens of love.
Okay.
And for example, let's say you're having a conflict with someone.
Hmm.
Instead of just immediately reacting with anger or defensiveness,
Right.
what if you paused and asked yourself, where is the love missing in this situation?
Okay. So it's not about ignoring the problem.
Exactly.
Or pretending everything's fine. Right. It's more about coming at it from a different perspective.
Exactly. It's about shifting your focus from blame and judgment
Okay.
to understanding and compassion,
Uh-huh.
which, I'm not going to lie, can be really tough.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's easier said than done a lot of times.
Exactly. And that's why the Course gives us some practical tools,
Okay.
like a 5-minute love meditation.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, but it's very powerful. You just sit quietly
Mhm.
and you focus on this feeling of love. It could be love for a person, a pet, a beautiful memory,
Okay.
anything that evokes that feeling of warmth and connection,
Mhm.
and you just let that feeling fill you up.
Okay, so it's kind of almost like a grounding exercise. In a way.
Yeah, exactly. It's very grounding.
I can see how that could really shift your mindset, yeah.
And this idea that love is this underlying truth, it can also change how we see ourselves.
Okay.
The Course suggests that feelings of unworthiness
Yeah.
or self-doubt, they stem from that same false belief.
And separation.
And separation, exactly.
Right, so if we're all connected to this source of love, then those kind of negative self-perceptions, they aren't really true.
Exactly. The truth, according to the Course, is that we're all inherently worthy of love
Mm-hmm.
because we are at our core expressions of that love.
That's a really powerful message. I like that. So I'm kind of curious, for you, how has this lesson, changed the way you interact with the world? Or how have you kind of seen it play out in your own life?
It's definitely an ongoing journey.
Sure.
But I find that when I can remember to view things through this lens of love,
Mm-hmm.
even in challenging situations, it really helps me respond with more patience, more kindness, and more understanding.
Yeah, it's it almost gives you a new framework for how to navigate the world and all its ups and downs.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
So I guess the big takeaway here is that love isn't just this nice feeling that we have sometimes, but it's this fundamental truth.
Yes.
And it can really change how we see ourselves, how we see the world around us.
Beautifully said.
So before we wrap up for today, here's a question I want you to kind of sit with. If everything is an expression of love, how does that change how you view the world around you, even the difficult parts?
That's a great question. And thank you everyone so much for joining us for another deep dive into A Course in Miracles. Please like, share, subscribe, and we will see you back here tomorrow for the next lesson.
See ya.